Whoosh! This is usually where there would be that really cool intro. What's up? Ken from Flowtricks. I'm doing this on a whim. There's so many things I wanted to talk about, and I just got busy, and I was hanging out with my son, and I realized, oh my gosh, I don't have much time to record. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to live stream. That way I can chat with you guys. We can talk about the reboot of Flowtricks, which is going to happen. And as well, I have a nice little beginner combo. So I think I want to get the combo out of the way first, so people that are technique scavengers, people that are looking for the technique right away, it can have it right away. I do want to say, though, I'm going to change the format of Flowtricks a little bit with future videos. I've decided most of my videos will have talking at the end instead of at the beginning. Usually I put it at the beginning just to make sure everyone gets the needed information. But I think what's happening is people are dropping off before they actually get the technique. This is the last exception. This is the last video before I start the reboot, by the way, too. The reboot is basically me going back to the beginning and redoing the videos in a way that's more cohesive, that's better, that's numbered, that follows a timeline and a chart so everyone knows exactly how to put the pieces of the puzzle together. So first, I just want to give some shout outs here. Apologies if I dice up the names. I see Rahul, Wesley, Michael, Ken Hill's on there. Oh my God, that guy's awesome. Elijah, Zane, Rohan. What's up, everybody? How's it going? Like I said, this is totally off a whim, so I'm kind of shooting from the hips here. Before I begin, though, I do want to say this. If you haven't already, flowtricks.net, there's something called Flowtricks Reboot. It's the very first thing. I featured it. If you haven't taken the survey, take the survey. It is so important that I get as many people as possible. This is going to be the definition of terms that I'm teaching, just a little bit. This is a survey, though, I want you to tell me, what I should do with Flowtricks from here on out. It's going to ask a lot of cool questions. Let me give some examples of questions if you haven't. For instance, how are the quality of the YouTube videos? What do you think of the website? What's your favorite thing? What can I do to make it better? What are things I can add? Here's rating scales from 1 to 5 on things that you think that I could offer, should I update the whole series? This is getting a unanimous yes, by the way. But should I give more handouts out? Or should we have other people submit their flow videos and then I could showcase some of my favorites? Things of that nature. There's so many different things. Should I review props? And there's a lot of questions, and it's really important that I get as many people to answer this as possible, so that way I can make Flowtricks the way you guys want. Because if you guys are loving Flowtricks and I'm loving Flowtricks, then we're just going to blow up, man. We're just going to blow up. The link to the survey, if you don't know how to get there, just go to flowtricks.net. Flowtricks.net. So, Flowtricks, Flowtricks.net. And it's the featured post. So it's one of the very first posts. You'll see it. It'll say Flowtricks Reboot right there. Just take it today. That would be super cool. I would really appreciate that. Now, I'm going to answer some questions, of course, too. And there's a little bit of criteria I wanted to go over. But like I said, I wanted to teach a technique first before we begin, just to get Technique Tuesday, to make sure everyone has a nice Technique Tuesday on top of that. So, boom. All right. Give me just a second here. I'm going to move the mic down. Please let me know if you guys have any problems hearing me or anything. All right. So I hope you guys are doing awesome. I hope you guys are spinning your chucks a lot. Dude, Dark Monk just sent me I'm off screen here. Dark Monk sent me a paired chucks. That way I can start working more on paired tricks. And we can start doing all these cool cool movements. Hey, I actually had someone tell me that they want to see me drop more. So there you go, man. Here, I'll do this one too. There. All right, see? We're all human here. God, I drop so much. You guys don't even realize it's when I'm working on new moves, my rule is that I'm probably dropping 90% of the time. Otherwise, it's not new. It's just something I've already done. So I wanted to go over something really simple, and then I'm going to answer some questions, and then I want to talk about the reboot a little bit more as to what you can expect to see, what things I know that are going to happen, and then again, I'll answer questions, and then I want to just kind of chit-chat. We can talk about whatever. So the move that I wanted to work on is kind of based off a hyper move, and it's just a way to turn with hyper and keep it in motion, right? Now the nice thing about this move is it's hyper style, but we're just adding 180-degree turns. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold the chuck in your right hand, and we're going to take our right foot at the same time, and we're going to step. So that way our back is facing the camera or the wall or wherever, right? what we're going to do is we're going to do, now this is a number 2 bounce. Remember, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 is on the same side on the top. It's going to go, we're going to start bouncing off the top, and we're going to do a behind the back pass right here. Now, I usually do same stick side, but it doesn't matter. You can grab the opposite side of the stick, or you can grab the same side of the stick. That part doesn't matter. We're just going to go here. And what's going to happen is, so I start up by my shoulder, push, and then I'm going to turn. Now this is going to be the easy part. This is going to be the hyper part. We're basically going to bounce it off the top of our left arm, bounce it across the bottom, and then as soon as it bounces off the bottom, it's going to fly over, and our other hand is going to cross over. This is going to turn into a cross grab. Boom. And once we turn it into a cross grab, what we're going to do is we're going to take another 180-degree step. We're going to bounce it under. So it's going to bounce, and it's going to be a number 3 bounce, and it's going to bounce up to the top. And we've started right back where we started. So it's going to be pass, turn, up, down, cross grab, turn, down, up. So pass, turn, up, down, cross grab, turn, down, up. Pass, turn, up, down, cross grab, turn, down, up. And it'll just become a nice fluid motion. Wow, it's really cool, it's really fun. It's just another addition, so if you're working on your hyper style or whatever, you know, and you feel like, how do I just kind of add some footwork into it? Boom, right there. And we're back. So give it a try. I really like it. I feel like this is kind of a beginner to a slightly intermediate combo, so a lot of people can get it. Take your time. I'm actually going to come back here and see if there's any questions about this move, or if you guys have any questions right now, this is a great time to answer. I think it's a good time for techniques. By the way, how's the speaker coming in? Like, can you guys hear me okay? Let's see. I want exercises to become fast and carrying out movements without falling into my nunchuck. Sure, yeah. Let's see. Good morning. Yeah, new format. I'm glad you guys are liking the new format, or liking the idea of a new format. Flowtricks needs an upgrade, and I'll talk about that a little bit more soon, but I mean, the views have been starting to go down a little bit. I know YouTube has changed their criteria on top of that, but I just feel like we've been doing the same thing, so it's time to start mixing it up. And like, I've learned stuff over the last 6 years, so it's like, why go off the foundation of what I worked on like 6, 7, 8 years ago when I can build a new one that's even better, especially now that we have a website that can hold it. So for Mohammed says, I want exercises to become fast and carrying out movements without falling into your nunchucks. I'm gonna be right back here again. I think what you're trying to say, forgive me if I get this wrong, is you're looking for how to get a lot of speed in nunchucks, right? I generally find people can be fast in 2 different ways, and one is that they just do a lot of big drills, right? They do a lot of drills back and forth. Actually, no matter what, just doing drills over and over is going to help you, but you really should be able to do it slow before you do it fast. This is so true. If you do it fast and you're not able to do it slow, it usually ends up looking really sloppy, kind of Star Wars kids-ish, you know, like the Star Wars kid. You'll be fumbling a lot, you know, and it masks. What you want to be able to do is have control of your chuck before you can add on to speed. Now, to create speed, one way you can do it is just like use your muscles, right? I generally don't do it that way. I actually tend to go the other way, but you can do it that way. And you'll notice there's people and they can be fast, but their whole body is tense. And it almost feels robotic. I can't even like mimic it because I don't know how to do that. I find the better way to do it is to be as relaxed as you can. And I don't even know a good way to describe it except for, hey, look, perfect. Except for like whipping a belt, you know, just, I don't know if you can hear that. That belt whipping comes from the belt being very relaxed, and at the last second, it just like explodes. And that kind of explosion, I feel like, can create a lot of your force. On top of that, if you're using heavy chucks like oak, a lot of times people say, oh, you can't do hyper with oaks, but that's how I started hyper, was with oaks. I started with heavy, dense chucks that would bang me up. But if you're able to put all your force in the first 25% of the spin and then relax it, by the time it touches, it's actually just kind of floating there. So you can create the same kind of whip snap And if you put it in the very beginning, all of a sudden you're minimizing damage with things like hyperstyle, where there's a lot of heavy bouncing that can eventually cause wear and tear on your arms and legs if you're just going full out, hardcore, full force. But use that tip if that helps you, because if you do like doing hyper, I love doing hyperstyle myself, put most of your force in the first 25% or so, and then just kind of let it float there, and you're not going to have much force at all hitting your arms or your hands. So practice that. So practice slow, practice being able to whip your motions like a belt, and try not to be too tense. You can gain speed by being like super, you know, like super tense, but your body will show, and you'll, like, usually people's neck muscles start sticking out when they're doing it. It's kind of like dino hand, you know, it's like, I don't know. It's like, I just imagine like crushing a watermelon for some reason. I don't know why. It's like, you know, you want to look like fluid, like water, and not like you're about to kind of thing, you know. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, let me see here. Like I said, this is like totally, hopefully it's up. It's totally impromptu. So like, if you guys don't have questions, it's totally cool. But I'm more than happy to answer questions right now. I plan on doing more live streams. I actually, one of the questions that I asked was, and this actually surprised me, but a lot of people just want to see me train. I think they want to see me like drop a lot, or they want to see like how I put together moves, or maybe they want to see how I choreograph. But I think I'm going to start a regular session weekly where I'm just training. Now I'm not gonna talk to you guys very much. I'm mostly just going to be working and showing you the process that I go through when I train, and maybe it'll help you figure out like a process that you can go through. Maybe, we'll see. So I'm gonna answer a couple questions here. Let's see, we got, Rahul says, may you show how to do a continuous hand roll? And then Michael says, your back pass technique helps me move faster at my job, Ken, thank you. Awesome, yeah, no, I'm glad. Yeah, I love the behind the back pass. I mean, I feel like anytime you have body motion in your movement, it always looks better, right? Okay, so I'm gonna answer about a continuous hand roll. Let me see what else. Link to the survey. Okay, that's flowtricks.net. If you want me to cover that again, I can a little bit later here. Oh, you're welcome, Mohammed. Yeah, you're most welcome. How to catch staff chuck after throwing it midair. That's a good one. I learned Nunchuck for your lesson. Thank you very much. Good content ever for a fight. Oh yeah. Okay, so a lot of the moves, I just want to cover this, and then we'll go over some techniques. A lot of the moves that I teach is not necessarily for fighting. Some of it can work, but this is more for artistic expression. If you're fighting with chucks, you're gonna hold it lower. Now, I know sometimes, and I've been criticized, people have told me, don't teach martial arts, do flow, but what people don't realize is I have studied martial arts longer than I've done flow. I've done flow 10 years, and I did martial arts 13 years before that. I used to be an instructor. It's just I took a break because I was done with that stuff. So like, it's not that I can't teach fighting, it's just that I haven't. The big reason was I didn't want a bunch of people beating each other up or hurting each other. I didn't want liabilities to happen. But in time, I feel like, you know, I do think that there's self-defense moves that people can and should be learning. I just feel like YouTube isn't necessarily the best, and I didn't want to be one of those YouTube guys like, oh my gosh, you see them and it's like, they have their how to fight better than anyone else videos, and they just cringe. They just make me cringe, man. But I think if I did it in the right way, I would feel better about it. I've always been a little apprehensive. Like, I want to teach my martial arts skills to people because I think there's a lot of stuff I can teach and it could be useful. But at the same time, it's like, there's always that balance, you know. It's just because it's on YouTube and you're not at a dojo, it's always better to learn from an instructor in person so you don't accidentally hurt someone, because there's no one to stop you if you're doing it wrong. What kind of martial arts do I practice? I went to a dojo. They had 18 different instructors, 18 different styles, no lie. So like the idea was that you trained the style that worked best for you. I did a lot of RBWI ninjutsu and Kali. So I did a lot of knife and stick fighting. And then I did some Brazilian jiu-jitsu too. It was really fun. I really enjoyed kickboxing as well. One thing that kicked my butt was Aikido and Muay Thai though. Like those things are so, like Aikido is just so like specific in like the locks and the motions, and then kickboxing, Muay Thai kickboxing is just brutal, like just bruised and battered every day. Okay, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to answer these questions really quick about the continuous hand rolls, and as well, was I gonna say here? Kicks with chuck are awesome. There's one more question. Oh yeah, how to catch a chuck or staff after throwing in the midair. So let's go ahead and first answer a continuous hand roll. So honestly, there's many ways to continuously hand roll, but we're just gonna go over the back to back because that's probably the easiest. The front to front's a little bit more difficult. It has a little bit more stretch that he needs to go through. But watch this, we're in a front grip. I'm gonna assume you know how to do a front to back grip. All we're doing is we're taking the motion. So we're in a front grip, we move it over to a back grip. All we're doing to continuously make it move is we're trying, you just take your hand, grab the nunchuck, pull it over the top of your wrist like so. So you can see the chuck just kind of resting like this, okay? Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your hand that's free and you're gonna grab that chuck and you're gonna open up your hand on this one. Now this is probably just gonna fall, but what you're trying to see is how this chuck is gonna move. This bottom one's just basically gonna swing up when your hand opens and it's gonna reach up from the bottom. So I'm gonna do this a couple times. You grab the bottom, twirl it around, reach under, now open up your hand and feel as it comes up. That is the motion that happens. Here, open your hand and grab. So you're basically exchanging. It needs to go past the wrist, here. It needs to go right around the wrist, and as it's coming up, you open up your hand and the momentum will push that aside and it'll replace. Here to here, whoosh. Now, I generally tend to also kind of flick my hand, so as I open my hand, I kind of flick it upwards to get it out of the way. So what it'll look like as I go slowly, it's like that, and as I go fast, it looks like this. You can kind of see, like my hand gives it a little bit of a twist before I open up my hand. That's just, I don't know, that's not always necessary, I just like the way it looks stylistically. Plus it sets you up for other motions like reverse illusion rolls and things of that nature. Just practice that, so like while you're here, just grab the chuck right now and just do this for the rest of the time and you'll have the infinite wrist roll by the time you're done. Just keep going like this, keep going like this, and then when you feel bold, when you feel ready, just kind of push it and see if you can get it without reaching under to grab it. That is probably the best way that I can think of right now to help you with that. The other question is how do you grab a chuck when it's in the air? Like, how do you grab it? Well, the good news is once you get it, you can usually do it automatically. The bad news is you have to kind of condition it. It's almost like muscle memory. You can do some spotting, but generally speaking, to consistently catch a chuck, it's going to be your muscle memory, how you've trained it. Now, when you're first learning it, you're going to grab lower because the higher you go, I don't know if you can see that, the faster it spins. The higher your grip, generally the faster it spins. So as you grab lower and if you do a throw, it slows it down quite a bit. So this compared to that. So you're gonna grab, I would say grab around the middle of the chuck if that helps. You're gonna spin it counterclockwise with your right hand. And the moment this is at kind of getting 12 o'clock going to 9, we're just going to stick our thumb out, we're going to push it up, and we're going to lift it in the air. Now the chuck's going to be flying in the air. The question is how do you grab it? Well, there's a few different catches. The catch that I use the most from this style is going to be as the chuck is kind of falling down this direction, as the chuck is going towards the ground, my right hand is going to just snatch it right around 6 o'clock as it goes. And then I'm going to give it a little bit of a twist. So it's swirling in the air, and as soon as it lands here, I'm going to grab it, and I'm almost going to kind of pull with the momentum to get it spinning again. So here, grab. Now again, there's so many different ways. There's like so many different ways you can catch a nunchuck, but this is probably the way that I would start. I mean, there's so many different directions, and you can try catching it with your other hand as well, but you always got to start in one spot. So here, catch. Once you catch it, you're gonna give it like just kind of pull into the same motion of how it's spinning, figure out like where that feel is, and it'll be very nice and smooth. There's gonna be a lot of variations you can do, but that's all in time. Just practice that. I've practiced that for now. Okay. By the way, is the microphone coming in okay? Kicks with chucks are awesome, by the way. I love kicks with chucks. Oh, you wanna learn the reverse illusion roll? I can definitely go over that. Let's see here. I'll get that, and I'd enjoy seeing your martial arts incorporated into flow. I think they go hand in hand. Oh, hey, welcome, Lisa. Yeah, you know, it's funny, when I first started doing nunchucks, I couldn't escape. I should see if I could find an old video of when I first started spinning nunchucks, because what you'll see is like a total martial arts flow. Let me see if I can find it. What you'd see is a total martial arts flow that's happening. Oops. You know, I can't find it right now, and I'm getting a little confused. I'm gonna go back to here. But I can definitely, wait, technology. I can definitely show like what a martial arts flow would look like in the future. What's weird is I've trained my body to be more circular, so what comes naturally now is not necessarily less martial arts, but it's definitely more like fluid and performing and circular, as opposed to the old days I was very triangular, you know. All right, so I'll try to see if I can find that video though sometime today. It's like one of the very first videos actually here. That's why I was just thought it might be kind of fun to showcase here. But the other question is, well, here, I'll show you something. This is my brother actually. This is probably like 15 years ago or so. My brother uses paired swords. And this is back in the day when I lived in a house. This is before I was a performer. So we, here, let me show you. It's really funny. I was, this is me like 10, 15 years ago. You can see like I was just barely started. But I had some really nice kicks back in those days. I wonder if I'll incorporate some. I'm sure I will. Oh, Ken. Here we go. Yep, this is old Ken. We would just practice all different kinds of breaks and throws and kicks and punches, and we would just practice our one-steps. But yeah, no, oh my gosh, that was good times. I just wanted to kind of showcase something old, but that's Ken and Toe martial arts training. That is 11 years ago. It was a long time ago. Okay. You ever just like lose your train of thought when you're doing a live stream? Okay, no? Okay. Anyways. So reverse the illusion roll. Let's go over that while I'm here. Whoosh! A reverse illusion roll is a back-to-back hand roll. A reverse illusion roll is a back-to-back hand roll. Now, here's the cool thing, and I was actually going to tell people about this. When you are in a back grip, you have control over this chuck. And people probably don't even think about that because they're always thinking about the other side. So when you have a chuck, you're always thinking about the other side. Especially in a front grip, you don't really have much control over the way this swings. Like, just try swinging this. It's really hard to do anything interesting with the back of this chuck. But when you're in a back grip, you can move the chuck. You have a little bit more leeway to move it in some type of form. And that's exactly what a reverse illusion roll is. The reverse illusion roll is combining a back-to-back hand roll with just being able to take a nunchuck and play with the side that you're grabbing. And it's an unusual move for sure, but that's really the trick to it. So if you want to practice a reverse illusion roll, first you got to be able to do a back-to-back infinite, right? And then you have to be able to figure out how you can move this chuck while keeping this spinning. So you're going to be in a back grip, you're going to spin the chuck clockwise, and when it reaches 12 o'clock, what you want to see is if you can just kind of cross it down by twisting it while not losing the spin. So here, whoosh, like that. And you make the sound effect, whoosh. You got to make the sound effect or it won't work. Whoosh, 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 right? And then what we're doing is we're kind of floating it down. So the reverse illusion roll happens as a float down. So now we're lifting it up and then we're floating it down. So get the spin, twist, twist, and slowly raise it up and lower it down. This is, in essence, is a reverse illusion roll. It's combining this with the back-to-back hand roll. So how does it all connect together? It's quite simple. Well, actually, let me see. I don't remember. Okay. So the back-to-back hand roll happens up top. And then once the back-to-back hand roll happens, this is pushing down to the bottom. Once we get down to the bottom, it becomes a back-to-back hand roll happening up. And then we do that same motion. We're doing this motion here to get it to float to the bottom. So it's float. And then back-to-back hand roll, float. Back-to-back hand roll, float. And then when you find the rhythm of it, you have this really crazy motion that happens. Pretty cool, right? So, but it's about maintaining control of the back grip, same stick, which is, like I said, which is unusual. I've tried it in a front grip. It's a lot harder. Back grip is where it's at when you want to play with shapes and pictures. Keep that in mind. Whenever you want to play with shapes and pictures of a chuck, it's almost always a back grip. Whenever you want to just be fast and furious, it's almost always a front grip. So think of that as tools. Your back grip can get really creative, kind of weird almost, but a lot of the windiest, eye-pleasing ones always happen in a back grip motion. So think about that. Food for thought. All right, I'm back and I'm getting a little faster at changing scenes. All right, I'm gonna answer a few more questions and then I'm just gonna talk about a few more things here. Is Ken living in the USA? Yeah, I live in Iowa now. I live in Council Bluffs, Iowa. I live in an artist loft, which is really nice. I have super high ceilings now, so I'm still not used to it. That's why I have this awesome scene over here is my part of my living room. So I really love living in an artist loft. Plus it's nice because I live with a bunch of artists, so we all understand each other a lot better than Ken living in a regular place for sure. Let me see if there's anything else. Good, I'm glad the mic's good. So I just want to talk over a couple more things. We went over combos. We went over quite a few combos. So I think people should be happy with Technique Tuesday. Like I said, I want to change the format. Oops. Maybe this will be better. I want to change the format of Flowtricks, and I really just want to make it better for everyone because I haven't, well, I don't. Well, I've been doing, like I have been trying hard. I feel like I haven't been listening to what people really want. So as I'm going over this survey, I mean, I have about 20 responses now, and I'd love to see about 40, just because it'll be like a big rounded number. But people are telling me ideas and thoughts about the website, about the videos that works for them, stuff I didn't even think about. So I really want to just be super receptive, so that way when we reboot it, it's going to reboot in that vision that everyone wants, and we'll have an even better time with it. I'm like pretty excited about that. Let's see here. Just on a quick note too, just don't forget, like everything that we do runs off Patreon. It's kind of how we keep Flowtricks expanding, this month is going to be a little bit smaller. We're just giving away a $50 Amazon gift card to one lucky Patreon donor, $8 or more. But down the line, as we grow, I'm hoping that we'll eventually be able to be giving away LED nunchucks every month. And then for the website too, it's kind of the same thing. I'm going to have multiple prizes every month that I would love to give away for people that make the most creative videos or funny videos or crazy memes, because you can do so much on the website. And I know it's hard to look at, but so is Facebook in the beginning. And that's the way I see it, because I know I've been reading and some people are like a little confused about the website, and a lot of it just has to do with getting comfortable and patient, just like you did when you first logged into Facebook. I'm telling you now though, in time, it's going to be amazing. It's going to have something that Facebook could wish it could have. I swear, it's true, but it's going to take time. Everything's already set in place. I just got to keep making content and getting more instructors and getting people on. And then we'll start having games. I would love to have daily games, but we'll probably be weekly to start with, and to give out prizes and keep people training and inspiring each other. It's going to be just loving it. Also, I like the idea of showcasing Spinner. So I kind of wanted to show you, if you guys don't know, this man here, I'm on Flowtricks here, Jason Jaded. You just have to watch him for a second. This guy is phenomenal. Yeah, so he's doing a finger spin forever and ever. That's just ridiculous. I have the volume off just so I can give some commentary. But watch this guy, man. Just watch him. He's nuts. Ugh. Tell me that isn't. And look, did you see it? Stay alive. See that? And there's a river too. Like, how many people put a river? I never put a river in my videos. What am I thinking? Like, in bars and wait, where's Jason? Jason's probably down. He's like a ninja. He's hiding. Oh, there he is. Told you. I knew it. He's coming up. Watch his techniques, though. They're just out of this world. He's redirecting. He's doing hand rolls. He's doing behind the back passes. He's also an admin for Flowtricks. We have a few admins, and I was lucky. Oh my gosh, this is what I'm really jelly about. Like, so jealous about that. That's so crazy. It's just like Ninja Turtles. Oh man. Well, and look, and don't forget, like, I like this because it's like the one thing you can never ever forget about ninjas is that they hide in trees. Like, there's 5 right there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's 5 of them in that tree right over there. Anyways, wow, neighbors are a little bit kind of loud. That's all I really wanted to share right now. I just wanted to tell you guys that Flowtricks is having a reboot. this is probably the last video before the reboot starts. I'm going to be updating the website. I hope you guys enjoyed some of the techniques. Hey, do you guys want to meet my son, by the way? Yo, come here.
Hello.
Oh, can you go a little lower? This is my son. He's his name is, well, he's a floating body. He has no head at all.
Hello.
Yeah. So even when he was 6, he started spitting fire. We used to have a lot of fun doing that. He's 16 now. 16. Like, gosh, man, I'm old. Anyways, when I'm not doing like Flowtricks, I'm hanging out with my son probably, or playing video games, one or the other. Anyways, I hope you guys are doing well. That's really what I wanted to I wanted to talk a little bit, let you guys aware that we're having it, but it's only so we can go forward in the future. Because if we redo it and we do it the right way, it's like rebuilding a building, but using the right bricks this time, because we learned over the last 6 years some of the bricks are kind of funky and they don't quite work right? So that's kind of what we want. Hope you guys are doing well, and again, message me anytime if you guys need anything. Otherwise, yeah, keep spinning. Talk to y'all soon.